Welcome to the LumaCast, your premier gateway to the universe of limitless photo editing. Dive into the galaxy of Luminar software and the dynamic world of AI photo editing. Join us weekly for a burst of creativity and the drive to transform your photos with confidence and skill. Broadcasting directly from Clever Photographer headquarters, it's time to welcome your hosts, Jacob Bors and Holly Linton.
Hi, everyone. We're back for another episode of LumaCast, your favorite podcast where we talk about photography, photo editing, and our love of Luminar Neo. I'm your host, Holly Linton. Alongside me is our favorite clever photographer, Jacob Bors. How's it going today, Jacob?
Everything is great. As always, I'm very excited for today's episode of LumaCast.
Well, that's because it's all about shopping. And for all you shopaholics out there, upcoming is the Black Friday and Cyber Monday time of year. So today we're going to talk about whether or not these sales are worth it, and also, are you going to get scammed? Are you going to get a great deal? So I'm excited to jump right in because you know I'm all about shopping and finding the best deals.
The main reason why we wanted to do this episode with Holly was to, just maybe help you out, give you some of our tips and tricks and the overall view of the Black Friday, not to get scammed or tricked.
And so here in the United States, Black Friday, I guess it's probably going to be similar where you are, is all about, well, it's the day after Thanksgiving is Black Friday, where everyone just floods to the shopping malls and shopping centers and thinks that they're getting the best deal on everything. In terms of photography, are all the camera shops and online retailers having great sales. And then that runs into Cyber Monday, where maybe you'll get even better deals. That's really what it's all about. But I've seen that it's become sort of 30-day, like prior to the real Black Friday, there's already been sales out there. So that's what I've been seeing so far. How about you?
Well, for me, coming from Czech Republic, so the kind of Central Europe, Black Friday doesn't have much tradition there, to be honest. But in general, the sales and offers do start at the beginning of December anyway. So I guess that's a kind of similar feel. So for me, the first time I seen Black Friday was here in UK, where I can't really compare it with States, but here it has a big tradition. You can really get some great deals. So if you do it right, it's a great opportunity to even grab some maybe Christmas presents as well. Not necessarily just for yourself. You can buy other stuff. So here in UK, definitely big tradition. Lots of things goes on discounts and sales, and it can be lots of fun.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of what we think is worth buying during these sales would be, what do you think? Maybe the camera bodies and lenses might have the better deals versus some other items. What could you add about that?
We thought about it a little bit, and I guess you can divide it between three categories. One of them is where most of the time it's worth it to buy the item during the Black Friday. And as you mentioned, those are, yes, your camera bodies, lenses, maybe even editing software. Funny enough, also SSDs or like a memory cards. This time is the best time to buy them, and I know they are not necessarily, depending how big memory card you're buying, but they can be quite pricey if you're buying few. So if you're buying few, might as well do it now and get the great deal. So memory cards, for some reason, every year, the best offer is on Black Friday. And also what usually goes with quite good discount are things like high quality courses or bundles. We have something, I guess you have it in States, this thing called Masterclass. They invite lots of different people from different industries. I know Annie Leibovitz has a masterclass there, which actually is amazing. Not necessarily for photography, but just for the idea on how she photographed some of her most famous work. It's worth it. So that would be one where I would kind of double check things. So in general, what I think really works are the more expensive things, like lenses and cameras, and maybe the software. Then what is sometimes worth it, and I think this category just needs a little bit of extra digging, if you would say that, maybe just a little bit of extra research. Those can be, for example, tripods, camera bags, filters, and some accessories on Amazon. But I will say some because there can be some which will be really for good value and with good discount, and there can be some which will be not worth it. And those bring us nicely to the category C, or third category, where we're talking about items that are rarely worth it and more likely they will not be. So one of them are these cheap, everything included bundles. So for example, you are a portrait photographer, and you always wanted to buy, maybe flash and lighting and maybe softbox. Now, if you buy them individual, they can be quite pricey. So basically on Amazon, sometimes you can buy this like portrait lighting bundle, which looks on a picture great and it has everything in it. And, you get the softbox and different bulbs and different lights and, different filters and maybe different gels even. And it looks kind of almost too good to be true, because generally when it arrives, the quality is either really poor or it can be damaged or it's not really working. So, for example, one of my friends bought one of these bundles and actually the light is so, how would you say, not powerful. It's just not strong enough for portrait photography. So you have to almost put it next to the person's head. So it just doesn't work. So yeah, so this is one of them. Another thing to stay away from are these massive LUT preset bundles. And I'm not saying clever photographer bundles.
Of course not.
I'm talking about these bundles where you have like a 20,000 presets. Now, even if they all work, you will never ever in your life use 20,000 presets. Like the headache just to go through them and sort them and even just add them to your application would be crazy. So stay away from these crazy LUT preset bundles. Just buy what you need. And additionally, these things are around all year round, but I think around Black Friday, they will pop up even more. And what I'm talking about are those magical AI photo editing apps. You can see them. They have a fancy names. They usually have a fancy logo. And most of the time when you install them, they will be for free. But once you open them, everything will be behind multiple paid doors. So you can open the app immediately. It will ask you to subscribe for some maybe little fee, $2. Then you will want to use the feature while you actually got the app, so AI portrait editing or something. That will be behind another subscription. And then you want to export it in higher quality. That will be another subscription. And before you realize, this free app can cost you $20, $30 a month. Never mind the fact that once you actually finish the picture, you will also realize that the quality is really poor, because most of them are just this very low quality generative tools, which work just like, you can see the example in Photoshop or Luminar Neo, where you kind of just send the image away, it tries to edit it, and that's it. So stay away from these apps. If you feel like you want to get an app, get it from a good brand name, Adobe, Skylum, whatever. They will have their Black Friday offers too, so don't get caught there. So those, in my opinion, are the three categories of different products, which in my experience are worth it usually, sometimes, and very rarely.
All right, I have some thoughts going through my head as I was listening to all of that. So when you were talking about high quality master classes, I thought you were referring to your own courses.
Of course.
Of course, everyone should have a Clever Photographer masterclass in their collection. As far as someone bought 20,000 presets, you'd probably then have to find a good deal on an external hard drive if you're going to do that. And with regard to some great deals, like you were talking about all these messages in your mailbox, what I would do is, like, for example, say you subscribe to Adorama or B&H or one of those, photography related companies, type it into your search bar to find all of the emails from them. And then obviously go to the most recent, which should be a Black Friday message, and just go from there, see if there's anything in that email. So today, for example, I was on the B&H one before we started our podcast, and there is a tripod. The brand I use, Benro, just happens to be the same brand. It's a waterproof carbon fiber tripod that goes for like $425 regularly, and it's like $135 for the next 14 hours, so like just for today only. But to me, that's like an amazing deal. If you needed a tripod, and that one, maybe you haven't done enough research to know which tripod you want, you might just grab one that based on the fact that it's so inexpensive right now. So you just have to really do your research. And same thing with like the apps that you mentioned. I've actually bought apps for my phone before that I actually returned them to the app store. Like I bought it and was like, this is horrible. And within a certain amount of days, I was like, this app is really horrible. Can I get my money back? And I've actually gotten my money back. So if you act quickly and you made a mistake, maybe with a software purchase like that, it's always worth asking customer service to get your money back. So that's what I have to say about that particular segment. And then with regard to like scams or marketing tricks, sort of what I just mentioned about like today only type of pricing, what kind of things are you seeing out there that you think could be kind of a red flag of, you know what, maybe you shouldn't be buying this item?
It's funny because some things are new every year. Every year you see a new way of trying to trick people, but some are just constantly there and people get caught every year. I mean, some of these bundles I already mentioned, I don't have to go back there. Just if you really feel it's too good to be true, there is a slight chance that it's just too good to be true. You know, double check what's there. Sometimes you can go as far as see the bundle on Amazon and you actually go through these elements and try to search for them individually, and you will realize that you're not saving anything at all. So that's just one thing. Fake discounts, I think that's a big one. I really hope by now people know this, but there's lots of like a low-key sellers or not very known sellers who basically what they do, they raise their prices in October on all the elements, you know, like maybe 50% up. And they know they're not going to sell much in October, which they want anyway, because again, that's smaller companies. And what they do then, they just basically go and take the price down. So let's say 50% off. But what you're actually doing, you basically just bringing it to the normal price. So some of these discounts are definitely fake and they just kind of lying to you about this massive deal. And I think it's really not great. So don't get caught there. Search for history, search on other platforms, search for the same product on multiple sellers and see if the deal is real. And generally, we're going to talk about that later again. It's really good to have a list of things you would like to buy and next to it right prices, because that will allow you to then very easily see if it's worth it or not. Funny one, based on my experience, I talk about the memory cards, that it's a great deal during Black Friday, which I stand for. It's usually like memory cards and external hard drives are the best to buy now. But funny enough, on Amazon, but more of the time I've seen it on eBay, you can buy memory cards for really, really good price. But when they arrive, they've already been used. Now, how this happen? They are big production companies or photography, cinematography, others, where they basically use the memory card only once for safety reason. If you're a cinematographer and you're making several million movie, you will not reuse the memory card. You will just use it, download the content, and you throw it. So some of these companies basically sell these cards for very, very cheap. So somebody goes and buy them, and then he repurposes them saying that they are new, and they are not new. And honestly, the memory card is one of the things where you really, really don't want to play with, because the worst feeling is that you go to like your dream place to take pictures, and you're taking the pictures all day and everything looks amazing, and then you come home and the memory card fails, because you had saved that $2 extra. I'm all for looking for deals and maybe sometimes go for no brand names. I think when it comes to memory cards, you want to be safe there. So on building on the memory cards, then you're talking about gear in general. Sometimes you're buying like a lens, secondhand lens, and in an ad, it looks like it's brand new, but actually or almost new. And then it arrives and it's really damaged or it's scratched or whatever. Another thing is also some of these kind of websites where you turn up and everything looks so cheap, but actually there is no contact page. There is nothing about the company. There is nowhere to contact them. There are no terms of, use. There is nothing about return policy. I would stay away from it as well. Obviously, you want to be extra careful when you're buying the more expensive stuff, like the camera bodies, lenses and stuff. But any money is just a shame to waste them, I think. So it doesn't really matter how much you're going to spend, £10 or $10 or not. It's a shame to give it to somebody who's just making a fake accounts and fake website. Double check always. And again, I think the main thing here is if it does sound too good, there's a chance it will not be. And you would, but I mean, with all these scams, you would think it never happens. But I seen a guy who ordered Sony camera. What I have is Sony A7R Mark IV, which is around £3,000. And he basically saw it brand new for £1,500 on a website. And he went and bought it, isn't it? He paid for it and he never received the camera. And 1 week later, the website disappeared. And that was it. $1,500 gone. Never got the money back. So what about you, Holly? Do you have anything to add to it? Any scam you know?
I would say always, so whatever brand you're going to purchase, so I'm a Canon girl, I would make sure that the retailer is a Canon authorized retailer.
Oh, that's a good one.
So do that for whichever brand you are. Canon has a list of actual stores that are authorized. So there's one, I don't know if I should mention it here, but it's called, have you heard of Abe's of Maine?
No.
That is a company everyone says don't ever buy anything from there. It's kind of what it's. I mean, you'll probably get your equipment, but I think it's been deemed like not authentic or something. I don't know if you can they make a camera that says Canon and stuff that's not actually a real one. I'm not sure, like if it's counterfeit type of thing, but their prices are so low that you would be tempted just like your friend was. You'd be like, oh my God, this camera is, $700 less than usual. So you're right. Too good to be true. So yeah, I agree. Buyer beware. And because you also won't get the, if you don't get it from an authorized reseller, you might not get the warranty for the product. So yeah, that's really all I have to add to that.
Okay. What do we have next?
Well, we're going to talk about our best and worst purchases, if we have any of them. I would say I don't have a worst purchase yet in particular, but I have a few things to share about what I think is a great deal right now. And my best purchase last year at this exact time was my camera, my Canon R6 Mark II. I think I mentioned this on one of our previous podcasts, but it's worth mentioning for this topic today. So I got my camera for like $200 less than it normally retails for. And you talk about bundles. Well, this bundle was actually worth it with a few exceptions. It came with a free adapter from my from DSLR to mirrorless because I needed the adapter. It came with a free 258 gig memory card and a free Canon battery. Now the Canon batteries are like $89. And if you check your Adorama email, they give an extra coupon. It was $100 off. So you have to be savvy and keep checking your messages. So I was able to apply all of that and got the got a great price. And they also have a rewards program. So as you make purchases from them, you accumulate dollars. It was like right now I have enough in my account to get $50 off my purchase. So I can use it as a method of payment. So some of these sites have those rewards perks. So I think you should always be enrolled in those. Now, the other stuff that came with that purchase was a Capture One prepaid subscription. And I was like, I'm not going to use that because I love Luminar. So I let that go to waste. And then a $20 Printique coupon, which I never used, but I guess that's like a printing place where you can make prints from. And I have a shopping extension called Rakuten. It's the dumbest name ever. It used to be called Ebates, but it's Rakuten. And I know there are other shopping extensions out there like different Capital One, different credit cards will have a shopping extension where it helps you search for the best price on stuff. So anyway, you get more money back, like depending on the percentage that they give you. So today on Adorama, you can get 2.5% back if you use the shopping extension. So 2.5% of like a $2,000 purchase could be pretty significant.
Yeah, definitely.
So I do things like that when I do my shopping. And so today I looked at the same camera I bought last year. Now, all the cameras now seem to be about $200 more than they ever used to be. I think it's because of the tariffs. But they're giving today that same camera with the Canon battery and the memory card. It's $2,099, originally $2,299. So you're saving $200 and you're getting a battery and a memory card. So I feel like that's a good deal. But like we already said, you kind of need to know what you're going to buy and map it all out and just do it methodically. Then, for example, I want a new lens for Christmas. It's $100 off today. So I feel like Canon has $100 off every now and then throughout the year. Is it really a great deal? But it comes, you can either pay, it's $3,299. I don't want to buy it for myself, but it's $100 off the regular price. But it comes with a UV ND and a circular polarizer filter. But then that lens cleaning kit that you talked about and like a lens cloth. But you could buy it as that bundle for the same price as if you bought it without the bundle. So to me, it's like, might as well buy the bundle so you feel like you got a few free items out of it. All right. And then Lensbaby, as you know, I'm a Lensbaby lover. Right now, they have a great 25% off site-wide. And if you spend $299 or more, you get a free They're Spark Optic and Lens. So it's like a $200 value of a free gift. So to me, that's worth it. And if you use my coupon code ULinton, you get another 10% off. So this is the best time of year to me for Lensbaby sales. They do them throughout the year in varying ways, but this is really the most money off that you can get for Lensbaby. So those are a couple of things that I think are definitely worth it this time of year. But you just have to do all your research. Yeah.
Well done. That was a great list. And well done on your bundle. Love that.
Thank you.
Okay, yes. So those were some great ideas. And I think, if you're in the market for the camera, or if you're wishing it for Christmas and somebody's about to buy it for you or whatever, I think this is a great time to do it. And you're right. Might as well get it with the bundle if it's the same price. So who cares how good or bad the filter is going to be or the cleaning kit? Yeah? Because I reckon they will not be a great quality. But if you're just about to start with long exposure photography, it doesn't really matter. You can try and play with it. It's always better to have it. So yeah, definitely. I also never really had a very, very bad experience simply because generally when I want to buy something, I kind of have it on a list for quite some time. So I know how much it costs and I know where I get it from and so on. I already talked about the bad experience of my friend, which should be a warning to everyone. I think already just a common sense. If the seller is offering few hundred off, you kind of think, fair enough. But when they're offering few thousand less compared to everybody else on the market, you kind of think there's something wrong there. And most likely will be. So that would be the worst experience. This, I guess, nicely brings us to how can photographers protect themselves or how to stay safe when doing the Black Friday. And first one, I think, is the most important one and the one I've been saying over and over through the episode is to make yourself a shopping list before the Black Friday. It's okay if you're going to add a little filter of a few pounds, but if you have bigger things to buy, make yourself a shopping list and right next to it the prices. So when the Black Friday come, you know that you're getting a good deal. Like with Holly and her baby lenses, she knows how much they cost, right? So you're not going to get tricked by just adding a discount to it. Another thing, which is really handy with the bigger sellers, you can usually find like a history price checker. For example, for Amazon, it's called camel.com. I don't know why, but you actually have to spell the 3 camels. So camel.com. And you can also install it as a plugin to your browser. And basically that allows you to see the history of the price. If you see something with a great price, fair enough, maybe it's a great deal, but double check and see if you're not just getting tricked. Compare the sellers between each other. I think maybe, Holly, you can tell us some American sellers we could talk about or at least mention. Where would you buy gear in States?
I've bought a lot of stuff from Adorama, which is in New York on their website. B&H is also in New York. And then I have sold gear on MPB. There's another one called KEH. So you can buy used gear from those places, which I would think are reputable for used gear. Those are some of the ones that come to mind. And then whatever your it's always nice to support local camera shops. I'm not sure there are as many of those nowadays, but there are still some out there.
That can be cool because you can go there and actually try the gear. That's always a good thing, I think. We talked about it in the past. It's nice when you buy it online, but when you're buying a gear you maybe haven't seen before, go into the stone shop, if you can call it that way, the actual local shop, and try it there just to see that it's actually going to fit what you're trying to do.
I'll add one last thing because I learned this yesterday that Adorama has a policy where, if you buy something now and then the price goes lower on their site in the next 30 days, like up until December 31st, they'll give you the money back. So that's something you could do. You could kind of feel like you're getting a good deal for Black Friday, but then who knows, maybe they'll have a better deal in the middle of December. You can be on the lookout and try and get some of your money back. So I think that's a pretty good policy. And also like free shipping is good for some of these companies have that 2-day shipping. So those are things I'd look at to make my best decisions. So, all right, well, that is a wrap for this particular part of the Black Friday Cyber Monday topic. Now, this shopping experience is really kind of intertwined with the Thanksgiving holiday. And here in the US, of course, they don't have Thanksgiving in the UK, but which I should know this as a 55-year-old. I guess history wasn't my best subject, but Thanksgiving has to do with the Pilgrims and Native Indians who had a nice feast back in 1621. And I thought it would be nice at this time of year to kind of rattle off what Jacob and I are thankful for in our lives, in photography, and as it pertains to Luminar Neo. So I'm just going to rattle off mine and then we'll see what Jacob has to say. So personally, I'm thankful just to be alive. It's just great to wake up every day and have a fresh start and a brand new day to enjoy. I'm thankful that I have 4 healthy kids and that for the most part, I'm in good health myself. Regarding photography, I'm thankful for my husband who has gifted me photography gear. And I'm also thankful for the Keurig Fairy. Now, if any of you have a Keurig coffee machine and you're friends with me on Facebook, you'll know that the Keurig Fairy visits my house now and then, and I'll go to make a coffee and there'll be a $100 bill in my coffee pot. And that goes to my camera gear fund. So I'm really thankful to the Keurig Fairy. I'm thankful for the things that I enjoy taking pictures of, nature, animals, flowers, and all that good stuff. And I'm thankful for the advances in technology over the years and the companies that I support, like Canon, Tamron, and Lensbaby. And grateful for the time that I'm able to spend taking pictures and editing. And I am also, of course, very thankful for Clever Photographer and doing this podcast, which I have so much fun doing. Then finally, regarding Luminar Neo, I'm thankful for the community and all the friends, especially all the ones on Luminar Coffee Break. And I'm thankful to get updates and new tools each year. So that's it for me. Thanksgiving for me isn't really about the big feast anymore. It's just about feeling blessed, talking about what I'm appreciating in life and just having an attitude of gratitude. All right, you're up, Jacob. What are you thankful for?
That was awesome. Wow, well done. I feel like you have done this before, though.
Well, every Thanksgiving, I go through my list of what I'm grateful for. I do it frequently, too. The days that I'm down, I try to wrangle my mind back to a happier place and then always write like a little gratitude list or at least say one out loud or in your mind just to try to get yourself in a better mood and realize life isn't all that bad.
Yes, definitely. No, that was brilliant. Lovely. Also, I don't necessarily have such a structured Thanksgiving message, but I am very thankful. And I wake up still every morning with a smile, which is something that I've been doing for the last 39 years or so. So that kind of is thing to thank for in general anyway. In a very strange way, this year was a little bit difficult when it comes to health in my family and people around me this year. So I'm just very happy and thankful that everybody is doing all right and it's going towards a better days. So I think health and my personal health is something that I really appreciate because everything is okay until the health something's starting to go wrong. And then you really realize how much that has impact on what you're trying to do. Obviously, I am very thankful for people around me. I don't necessarily have many friends, but the ones I have around me, they are amazing. And I really appreciate each and every one of them. And the photography itself is one big thing I never take for granted. Obviously, I started my life with a career in hospitality, which was amazing because it allowed me to travel and learn the language and meet different people and really become the person I'm today. But it's the photography who then released the last change. The creativity is really something that completely changed my life. I actually have a little series coming up for Instagram and the short videos where I talk about the fact that, for example, my father was the one who gave me the first camera and how that little camera changed my life forever, and stuff like that. So I am always thankful that I am able to do as a main job and main income, the one thing that I really love, and that's photography. And overall, this has been interesting year. Now, not the one I expected at the beginning of the year, but it has been great. We have managed to do lots of stuff and I am just as happy as I was a year ago. That is a great thing. So yeah, that's me.
So that is a wrap, I guess. And so the moral of the story is enjoy your shopping. We hope you get the best deals ever. And just stop and remind yourself how wonderful it is to be in this hobby or business of photography. We're all very, very lucky.
Exactly. Guys, have a great week and see you next Friday.
Don't eat too much turkey and mashed potatoes. Bye, everybody.
And that's a wrap. Now, there's only 3 things left to do. Subscribe to this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Visit our website at cleverphotographer.com/Lumacast to see what we have in store next. And stay creative and keep editing your photos no matter what anyone says.